And I wanted to sing a little jingle real quick that we adapted. We went off. Can I? Okay, there we go. We walked off the job. Can you hear me? All right. We walked off the job for 3 days last spring, and we had a lot of jingles that we had in mind. I want to sing one of them with you that we've adapted a little bit. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. Lightfoot must negotiate. Ready? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. Lightfoot must negotiate. 1, 2, 3, 4. We won't take it anymore. 5, 6, 7, 8. Lightfoot must negotiate. Thank you, everybody. Now I'm here representing Graduate Students United at the University of Chicago. I'm also representing the University of Chicago Labor Council. It's a collection of unions, Teamsters, folks from SEIU, building engineers, all these folks who are out here in solidarity today with you because we believe that workers deserve a seat at the table when decisions are made that impact our lives. And I gotta tell you what, y'all, I learned about bargaining for the common good, bargaining for the people who live with you, bargaining for your children. I learned about that from you. When I first got involved in the union fight 3 years ago, I heard this story that really moved me from my hometown. I'm from New Mexico. And there was this teachers union that encountered, right after the Trump administration was elected, you had this brutal ICE crackdown. Students that were, literally the population was decimated. 10% of the students the following day did not come to school because they were so afraid of being snatched from their homes or their parents being taken away from them. And the union had this incredible reaction. They got together, these public officials, they formed a social justice team, they came up with ICE plans, they figured out how to defend their community, and that was so moving to me. I didn't realize unions could be such a force for good. And then I looked around and I learned, oh, wait a minute, I'm in Chicago. That's where this was invented. And that's what gets me out of bed every day, knowing there are people like you who will fight for the people, our children, for our communities, to make this world a better place. Thank you, everybody. I'm so proud to be here in this fight. This is all of you. Thank you so much.
Yes! Whole schools! Whole schools! Whole students! Whole students! Whole schools! Whole schools! Whole students! Whole students! Make some noise! Listen, everyone, make sure you be downtown tomorrow. You don't have to go to the picket line. We're taking it straight downtown to the loop. And I want everyone to wear all black. Black. It's going to be a blackout. It's going to be a blackout. Everyone in black. We're taking it downtown. We're going to shut it down again until Lori Lightfoot get on the right foot and put it in writing. We have a lot of clergy support here today. We have Reverend Shondell Taylor. He's the youth pastor of Greater St. John Holiness Baptist Church. Give him a hand as he comes and says he supports our teachers and PSRPs in this fight. Pastor Shondell Taylor.
How y'all doing? Make some noise! I just wanted to say really quick, I don't have a lot of cool chants and all that stuff like, the guys before me, but I just wanted to let you all know that you all have some clergy that are standing in solidarity and in support with all of you all. We're standing with you all. We're pushing for the mayor to decrease these class sizes. We're pushing for the mayor to send more funding your way. We need schools funded on the south side like we have on the north side. We need to have the same opportunity for our children like they have for those up north, for those around the city. We need that in our neighborhood. We're looking for these smaller class. We don't need class sizes of 35 to 50 kids. I'm a parent of CPS students, so this is an important issue to me. This is important for me to be able to stand with you guys, and we wanted to let you all know that you have clergy that are in support, that are standing with you all, that are backing you up 100%, And we're encouraging Mayor Lightfoot to get on the right foot.
Lori Lightfoot, get on the right foot. Lori Lightfoot, get on the right foot. Lori Lightfoot, get on the right foot. Get on the right foot. Lori Lightfoot, get on the right foot. Lori Lightfoot, get on the right foot. Lori Lightfoot, she gonna get it today. And she gonna be mad tomorrow, but she gonna get it right. We have another Reverend Robert Jones from Diet, and he was one of the hunger strikers. Make some noise.
All right, how's everybody doing? All right? All right, I'm gonna have to copy some of my sister's closes there. If we don't get it, if we don't get it, if we don't get it, shut it down. I am truly thankful to be here on today, and I just want you to know I stand with my brother and other clergy to let you know that there are clergy that are supporting you. And we're not just supporting you with words, but we support you with deeds and actions. I am thankful that I have the opportunity to be here on today, and because I'm here right in the shadow of this great high school Diet, I stand with my brothers and sisters who were hunger strikers to show you that sacrifice will pay off. Sacrifice for the right reason will always pay off. You all are sacrificing, the teachers are sacrificing, the parents are sacrificing, and it will pay off. And I'm here to tell you that if we don't get it, we're going to shut it down. We want the mayor to do the right thing. Get on the right foot. Thank you.
Yes, get on the right foot. Look in. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are. So we tell them. We are the union. The mighty, mighty union. We are the teachers. The mighty, mighty teachers. Make some noise. We have Ariel Atkins from Resist, Reimagine, and Rebuild Coalition. All that, bring all that. I wrote down a speechy speech for y'all. Real quick, when I say that ain't right, what do y'all say? That ain't right. When I say that ain't right, y'all say that ain't right. That ain't right? All right, you got me. All right, so my name is Ariel Atkins, and I'm here representing R3, Resist, Reimagine, Rebuild. This, I want y'all to know, is the very same park that Rodney Man Johnson was killed 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Rodney Man Johnson was killed in this park. And today is the 5-year anniversary of the day that he was buried. Rodney Man Johnson was a CPS student. And he was murdered by Officer George Hernandez. So when I'm making this speech, I'm thinking of the children and the family that he was ripped from. This is for all the youth we've lost to police and state violence, the mothers and fathers taken away from their children and imprisoned, and the futures of black children throughout this city and the world. We are at a crucial moment in the movement. Not only are our teachers making history by shutting it down and demanding better for our students, but they've made mainstream the message that we must widen our imaginations when we consider what better means for the youth. We are daring to dream that we can provide all students with the necessary resources to succeed, and we're willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Because the way that the city's money is distributed right now doesn't say that the youth of this city matter. Especially not our black youth. It says that the youth of the city matter as long as the wealth of their guardians can line the pockets of the people in political office. Right now, our budget says that police settlements, riot gear, and helicopter-sized swimming pools matter more than the mental health of black and brown youth that make up 90% of CPS. And the teachers have been out here every day in the rain, the wind, the cold, and the sunshine, demanding better. They've said repeatedly, we won't stop till we get it. Because whose city? Our city. Whose city? Our city. scholarship funds to raise condos that nobody asked for, that none of us can afford, but you refuse our school's funding to staff more teachers so they don't have 40 students a class, making it impossible to make sure that each and every student gets the education and attention that they need. When you do that, you're telling them that from the get-go that their lives and their futures don't matter. That ain't right. We spend more money on criminalizing black youth than we do on supporting, uplifting, educating, healing, and feeding them. That ain't right. Chicago has totally divested from black communities and our schools and has thus already decided our fates. You can't build a future when your city government has already given you a death sentence. And that's what the mayor has done, sentenced our children to death. Our students, our people deserve better, Lightfoot. You made a promise at the beginning of the year that there'd be no strike, and you stood with CTU and the city's youth. Now you sit in office shrugging your shoulders, offering us crumbs when you got whole loaves of bread waiting on your desk to be shared. When we said we would fight back, apparently you thought we were playing. But Chicago isn't the city that backs down, ma'am. And we got a message for you. I need y'all to repeat after me, all right? I believe that. I believe that we will. I believe that we will win. 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 That we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Yes, we will, because when we fight, we what? When we fight, we what? When we fight, we what? CT who? CTU. CT who? CTU. Who are we? 73. Who are we? 73. CT who? CTU. CT who? CTU. Who are we? 73. Who are we? 73. We have Andre Henry, a seeker from Local 73. Monique Smith, the educator CTU, the diet hunger strike. CTU. SCIU 73. I'm humbled as I stand here because Mayor Lightfoot and CPS CEO Janice Jackson yesterday talked about the sacrifice that our parents and our students are sacrificing right now, and that we won't be able to repair that. And as I stand here, I think about the sacrifice that our people have continually made. I think about the sacrifice of hunger strikers who had to starve themselves for 34 days to get the basic minimum to make sure that their children had a public high school to go to. So don't talk to us about sacrifice. Because that's all we do is sacrifice. While the elite get everything that their children deserve, and they should, but so do ours. Ours deserve the same thing. So don't get washed up into this narrative of, you all want too much. We don't have the money. That doesn't belong in a teacher's contract. Don't get washed up in that, because we are asking for the basic minimum. We are asking for the basic needs of our children. We're fighting for our 3- and 4-year-olds to be able to take a nap. We're fighting for our counselors to actually be able to do what they went to school for, to actually counsel. So don't let them tell you it's too much. Because if we got it for the real estate developers, if we got it for the police, then you're going to find it to invest in our babies. So you gonna find it, or you gonna know where you can find us out here on this picket line. Yeah, it's the fun. Woo! Yes. That's right. We gonna shut it down. We have Andre Henry now, Seeker from Local 73, Christopher School.
Good afternoon, CTU and SEIU. How's everybody feeling? All right, as everybody knows, yesterday we had negotiations, SEIU, our union, with Lori Lightfoot and her negotiating team, and he only had 12 minutes for us. 12 minutes after we had been negotiating with them well before Lightfoot was in office, since April of 2018, and still we have not gotten a contract that is fair or decent. And all they had for us was 12 minutes, and they stuck to the same proposals. They didn't even budge. I mean, apparently, for those people that aren't certain, that don't know exactly SEIU, everybody knows CTU and the teachers. But SEIU, we represent the special education classroom assistants, which is what I am, at Walter Christopher School. We represent the security officers, securing the schools. We represent the bus aides who safely transport children on the buses. And we also represent the custodians. Now, a lot of people don't know, as far as Seekers by job description, we basically work with special needs children. Those are kids with IEPs and 504s. We work with the most vulnerable population, and so do the bus aides. A lot of us sometimes have to change, which involves a lot of lifting. We have to help feed them. We have to help do hand-over-hand instruction because they can't do it on their own. It's a lot of personal interaction and intimate work that we do with those students, and the bus aides also help to safely transport them on the buses. Most Seekers in this city and CPS make under $36,000 a year. Now, I don't know about you, but in this city, like, that's right, poverty wages. Now, just imagine if they have children who they have to support, who they have to make a living for, and they have to go make it on a $36,000 budget. The bus aides, absolutely, and the bus aides get maybe around $16,000 and are on call for about 10 hours because they have to be ready to go on the buses in the morning between 5:30 and 6, and sometimes don't get off their route till 6 o'clock. And yet this mayor is telling us that we don't have enough money to give people a decent wage, so don't have to burn the candle at both ends, working 2 jobs, working till 11, 12 o'clock at night, then got to get up in the morning and go to work in the schools. Is that the best environment for people that are working with these children? Absolutely not. It's unacceptable. They ought to be ashamed, and the board ought to be ashamed for paying these wages. We got security officers trying to secure our schools, sometimes trying to de-escalate situations, and they're getting paid poverty wages. Unacceptable. Custodians, they're not allowed to clean the schools the way that they want to, don't have the proper cleaning supplies because they want to give money to Airmark and Sodexo, these private companies, so they can line their investors' pockets and shortchange our students and the staff that tries to work with them. It is completely ridiculous and unacceptable. So, my friends, I think we have to send a message to Lori Lightfoot, supposedly a progressive mayor. I haven't seen any evidence of it. It's always a problem when mostly black and brown staff, whether it's with CTU, you have members in your union, the PSRPs, teacher assistants, who help support the work that you do in classrooms. And they're getting paid less than the Seekers, a little bit. So you understand where I'm coming from. But anytime that we ask for resources to be put, or better pay, or resources into the school, or into our students, especially black and brown staff, CTU, you're told that you're asking for too much. Why are you complaining? You worked only 10 months out the year. You don't even work it. They don't take into account the prep time that you guys do. They don't take into account that you're on deferred pay, that you're not on deferred payment anymore, that you got it with no Social Security and you got to stretch a check for 10 months. None of that is taken into account, but yet they always have money for other workforces that are less feminine, less black and brown, and less feminine. But they tell you that you get it, that you asking for too much, that the mayor should stand up to y'all, that she needs to treat, that you guys acting like spoiled children, that she needs to go out there and teach us a lesson. Close some more schools. That's what the Tribune editorial board said. Close some more schools. They're beholden to you anyway. These are people who ain't been inside of a school in 30 some odd years and probably don't have a state, could care less about these students in this, care less about the students that we work with, but they gonna tell us that we ask for too much and don't have the idea about the environment that's in there. For them, class sizes are too low. The class sizes are 40 people in a class that's not a problem, class sizes. So in closing, I'd just like to tell Lori Lightfoot, come on out there. Please give us what we're asking for, a fair contract. If you're going to do the right thing, get on the good foot and get on the right foot.
Hey, that's right. Get on the right foot. We need to show Lori Lightfoot who got the power. Who's got the power? What kind of power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? Who's got the power? Who's got the power? Who's got the power? Who's got the power? What kind of power? What kind of power? What kind of power? That's right, we're going to show it tomorrow. All black. All black. All black. Meet me downtown. All black. Meet me downtown. Don't go to the picket line. Downtown, all black. Who's got the power? We got the power. Who's got the power? We got the power. What kind of power? Union power. What kind of power? Union power. Now we're going to have our officer, Crystal Williams Hayes, come on up. She's going to give you an update on bargaining, and she's also going to introduce our next speaker, okay? Make some noise! CTU Officer Crystal Williams. Good afternoon. Listen, I was sitting back here listening to this young man speak, and we had to cut him off, but I could listen to what he had to say all day. Because what he's saying is true. As I mentioned earlier, for those of you who were on the west side for our rally, we're standing in the gap for our children because they deserve to have a classroom and a size that's conducive to them learning. They deserve to have a teacher assistant so when little Bob want to run around the room and there's 40 kids in there and he want to do his thing, there needs to be somebody in that classroom to hold him down so the teacher can continue with her instruction, right? We're fighting for that. We need more bodies in the room when little Bob's cousin want to take off and run out the building. It ain't enough staff to catch, right? That's what I'm talking about. We want class sizes that are conducive. When you get on an elevator, there's a sign that may say capacity is 3,000. Maybe 2,400, right? When you go to an auditorium or a lounge, they have a capacity. There's a limit. Because somebody can get hurt. Somebody can get stampeded. Something can happen. There could be a fire. There's no way out. Because there is a max. But you endanger, Lori Lightfoot, our students in these classrooms that are oversized. Oversized. She doesn't think that it's okay for them to be in a classroom that is not conducive. I cannot fathom that for the life of me. A mother who is the head of this city. And this ain't about her, y'all. Don't run back telling Miss Lightfoot, whatever her name is, Miss Crystal said something bad about you. Yeah, I did, because you're the man, you inherited this mess, and you have a chance. There's an opportunity for you to put it in writing. She put a letter in writing yesterday that was so insulting to us. She put that letter in writing, right? She stood on the promises saying that she would back us up on what we needed in our building. She put it in writing. We're telling her to put our contract in writing. I'm going to tell you something. I'm the mother of a young lady that played basketball on grammar school level, high school level, college level, went on to play professional basketball. I was that mama that sat in the crowd and I fussed at the referees when they wanted the other team to win. They started making bad calls, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Act like y'all don't know nothing about basketball. So when the other team was losing, they started making bad calls. Lori Lightfoot making bad calls because she losing. Lori Lightfoot losing. Don't think that she ain't bothered about this park being filled, not because y'all going to the circus after this, but because you out here because you want dollar in your contract. She is losing. You are winning. Stay in this race. Stay in the game. I don't care what bad calls she makes. I don't care how many fouls she calls. I don't care whatever she try to do to you. Stay in this race. Stay here. Don't you let her push you. Don't you let her tell you that somebody else crossed the picket line, and you should too. You stay in this race. And you guard your school. You stand on your corner. You go to the expressways and you crowd that bridge. You go downtown in your black. It's a blackout. This ain't the day after Thanksgiving. It's a blackout because we ain't getting what we deserve. That's why it's a blackout. In the middle of our negotiations, she changed the game. She called a foul. Who does that? Somebody losing. She losing. She called a foul. We were so close. We were so close to winning. And at the buzzer, she calls a foul. Come on now. I'm telling y'all something. Don't think for a second. Don't grow weary in your well-doing. Stand right here. You stand flat-foot. Y'all gonna look her in her eyes. You're gonna go on social media. You're gonna tell the truth about what's going on in your school, in your classroom. You're gonna tell your parents when you go back to work. I advise you all to have a relationship with your parents. I'm giving all y'all homework. Every week you got 5 parents to call. 5 parents. You call them. I don't care if you got the fried chicken, put it in the shoebox and take it to them. You go and you meet your parents. And you talk to them. And you learn them. I'm going to tell you, you get the loudest ones in your building. You get Shaquaqua and Kilolo, who going to come up there and cuss you out because that little boy or girl came home and told that you looked at them wrong. You get her. You tell her your story. You tell her truth about her child, and you get her to be your voice. Get these parents on your side. Trust me. They will fight for you, and they will fight for you to the end. Tell your story. Tell your story. Now, I ain't here to preach to y'all, and I ain't going to take long. Especially because brown sugar melts when it get wet, right? I got to hurry to get out this rain. But listen, I want you all, seriously, stand firm, stand tall, believe in what you're out here for. We are making a difference, not just in Chicago. We are making a difference in the whole nation. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? You are making a difference. You are the model for teachers who are looking for restorative justice. You are the model for the teachers who are looking for smaller class sizes. You are the model that are looking for schools that have clinicians and social workers and things. And we modeling that. We in the city where trauma is bad. It's running rampant. We are losing our babies. We losing our tomorrow. But there is nobody in the building to comfort them. Real quick story, I'm off of here. I was talking to a nurse today, and she's going to tell her own story, but she just happened to have been in one of her 16 schools when a principal dropped dead. She just happened to be there and was able to resuscitate her. What if she hadn't been there? What if she had been at one of her other 16, 15 schools that day? That's how valuable nurses are in the building. There is value. We ain't asking because we just want to spend money. There is value. There is value when there's a psychologist and a social worker in the building. When the young man who was gunned down the other day, sisters got to go to school, we go off strike and have somebody to talk to. There is value in that. There is value when we have librarians. There's no reason for Diane High School to have a library full of books, no librarian, and they scheduling field trips and taking these high school students to the library as a field trip. There's no value in that. No reason. Everything that we're asking for has value. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about making a difference for our babies. I'm talking about making a difference in your classroom so you can instruct in a positive way. So listen, I'm going to say it one more time. You stand up here, you believe in what you're standing for. I don't care how many fouls they call on you. I don't care how many of you get ejected. You better stay in this game until we win. Oh, let me tell you something. I forgot. I got to digress. I got to bring up somebody. I said it the other day. This is a small piece of leather, but she well put together. I'm going to introduce to you all today one of the feistiest leaders in the whole America of the United States that already is great, been great, ain't got to get no greater. We are who we are, and I'm going to bring to you Randy Weingardner, who's going to set this rally on fire.
It's hard going after the preacher. So, look, I said earlier this morning that I've actually spent enough time in Chicago over the past probably 5 years that I probably should be paying property taxes. And I'd be happy to, Mayor Lightfoot, if we could get to the contract that CTU and SEIU Local 73 and our children deserve. And I'm glad we're at Diet. Did I say it right? Diet. I got that Brooklyn accent here. Diet High School in this rally today for a reason. And I said a couple of these other stories on some of the picket lines that I've been on because I am in awe of you. But this is a moment that the city will test you. And that's why Crystal and others in this middle of the wind and the rain, I feel like we're going to have Noah and the ark in a minute. But they're going to test you. And they're going to test your resolve. Because at the end of the day, what the city tried to do is they just tried to throw some salary money out there and to say, take it and go. They actually, and it kind of surprises me, because they actually then didn't really understand who any of you are. Not just who CTU, the union is, or Local 73, the union, but any of you. Because no one teaches in the city of Chicago, or is a nurse, or is a bus driver, or is a PSRP, or is a person who works with special needs kids. Every school district has all sorts of different mnemonics. So you'll excuse me if I use my New York mnemonics instead of my Chicago mnemonics. but anybody who is in this field, any of the 25,000 people CTU represents and the thousands that Local 73 represents, you cannot do this job in this city unless you love children and wanted to make a difference in their lives. You can't. And then you do it under conditions where the city is shining these days. I remember this city 10 and 20 years ago. Downtown is shining. And with it, the cost of housing is escalating. And you do it with having to live, frankly, most of you want to live in the communities in which you teach, and there's no recognition that the cost of living is so prohibitive in this city that that has to be on the table as well. And then on top of that, it's the conditions of the buildings. Look, this building here, Diet High School, I took a tour here last year after it had been refurbished. But what G2 and parents and teachers, why did they go on a hunger strike? Which we and others helped with. Why? Because how do you close a neighborhood high school instead of keeping it open, frankly, 20 hours a day so it can be a community center? So it can be a safe and welcoming place. So that kids feel safe. It's not just, and they are really important, the restorative justice programs. It's not just that we need to have counselors and social workers and these other kinds of programs. It's that we need to make sure our neighborhoods are not school deserts or food deserts, that they need to be shining stars and places that shine as much as any downtown in any city. The school is the center of the neighborhood, not the Sears building. The public school is the center of the neighborhood, not Lincoln Yards. And in that school, having food, having medical services, having the kinds of things that we know every child, I'm tired of when people say zip code, every child, regardless of demography, regardless of geography, must have the right to a great public education. And who is going to fight that but us? Who is going to fight for that but us? And so that's why when I say that this is a righteous battle, when I say that this is a biblical battle, we are fighting for the kids we love and for the schools we need, for the future that people need. This is the last thing I'll say, but power does not yield willingly. And all of a sudden, things that they expect teachers and parents to do all the time, because you do it all the time. You deal with it all the time. Every issue you deal with. So they can't believe that you're actually asking for things that are going to help us. Things that are going to help kids. So this is when it gets tough. When the easy things, when they can't just say, oh, I really care about the kids. And I really care about the teachers. Now it's about, no, the teachers and the kids and the community and the parents have to have some priority over the wealth in this city. That is what this is about right now. And let me tell you, it's not just me from the AFT. It's 1.7 million members of the AFT who are cheering you on. And it's not just them. There's a reason that Elizabeth Warren was here today. There was a reason that Bernie Sanders called Jesse. There's a reason that Joe Biden called Jesse, because the entire country is watching what the Chicago heroes and sheroes are doing for our children. Because you are walking that righteous path. And that path sometimes gets hard. And it sometimes gets windy. And it sometimes gets rainy. But you are walking the path of what students deserve. And thank God for you. Thank God for you. One day longer, one day stronger. I want to hear you say it. One day longer, one day stronger. One day longer, one day stronger. Because educators want what students deserve. Thank you.
Yes! Make some noise! Make some noise! Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Y'all awesome. Y'all so awesome. Marshals only. I need all marshals to head over to see Marty. All marshals. Everyone have a yellow vest? All marshals. All marshals. Everyone else stay put? But all marshals. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Make some noise. We have a lot of support. We have a lot of support. We have the ATU Local 308 who stand in support with us. They are the CTA train members. The CTA bus. They already. 241, the bus service. But we have a supporting man right here that's behind me. G2 Brown, the executive director of Justice for Journey. He finna shut down the house. Give him some love. Show some love. All marshals, head over to see Marty.
Thank you, sis. CT who? CTU. CT who? CTU. Who are we? 73. Who are we? 73. All right, it's an honor to be here today. I promise to be strong, but I'm not going to be long, all right? All right, my name is G2 Brown. I'm a proud son of the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization. I want to welcome you all to one of America's most historic black communities, Bronzeville. So, before we move any further, I want to pay respects to where you are. So when I say their name, I'm going to say to the spiritual memory of this person, we say libation. I want y'all to say libation. You hear me? To the spiritual memory of Captain Walter Dyer, who was the star maker, who trained Nat King Cole, Dinah Washington, and other people who changed music and was also a labor leader. So he was with you. We say in pour libation. Libation. To the spiritual memory of Dr. Daniel Hale Williams, the first man to perform successful surgery on the human heart and established Providence Hospital as the first teaching hospital for black doctors and nurses in the United States, we say libation. To the spiritual memory of Gwendolyn Brooks, our Illinois poet laureate, who told us that our black is so cool. To the spiritual memory of that sister who 47th Street was home, we say in pour libation. To the spiritual memory of Dr. Richard Wright, who wrote Native Son and gave her and told our story in a way that was vivid and human and said that we are more than who our oppressor says we are. We say libation. Now listen. I want to talk to you as a lifelong Chicagoan. I want to talk to you as somebody who was old enough to remember and actually went to the Willis Wagons in this city at Bennett Elementary School on 101st Street when I was in kindergarten and first grade. And this system devalued people that look like me so much that they put us in trailers. I want to talk to you for the man who became a man in the neighborhood where Richard Daley tried to close 20 out of the 22 schools in this neighborhood and turn them to charters, and we stopped them. I want to talk to you as a man that when I went to Mollison Elementary School after they closed Overton, and those babies ran up to me, second graders, pulling my pants leg, saying, Mr. G2, when will they open up my school? Here's what I want to say to you. The Hippocratic Oath in medicine says, first do no harm. But over the past 25 years in this city, the policies of Chicago public schools has done almost irreparable harm to our students and our communities. And the demands that you have in the contract are about remedying that harm. It's about, see, people can talk progressive. And too often, and I'm talking to my black folk in the audience, too often people can talk to us about that they care, and then when they stab us in the back, we say, oh well. They can talk progressive, but walk racist. They can talk like they with us, but always forget us. So we say the line is in the sand. We want 75 sustainable community schools. We want affordable housing around all those schools. We want you to stop zero tolerance practices, and we want a restorative justice practitioner in every school. I want y'all to think about this. How many tens of thousands of children that look like this audience had their lives ruined because this system viewed them through a lens of hate? So as a community organizer, as a parent, I want to say this to you. Understand that we are in this together whether you feel it or not. Because the same wolf that closes schools in my neighborhood and then dispatches my children like they don't matter is the same wolf who says that your profession doesn't matter. He's the same wolf that says that teacher aides don't need to be in every classroom. So I want to say this in closing. Listen. We have to have zero tolerance for inequity. So I want y'all to repeat after me. Zero tolerance, for overcrowded classrooms. Zero tolerance, for racist school closings. Zero tolerance, for standardized testing. Zero tolerance, for the charter school industry. Zero tolerance, for talking progressive and walking repressive. Are y'all ready to stand up? Are y'all ready to stand up? Whose school? Whose school? Whose school? All right.
What color? Where are we going? Where are we going? To shut it down? To shut it down? Well, today we're going to shut down the South Side, right? Are you ready to shut it down? I need everyone to please walk slowly over to the marshals. Please let the speakers get off the stage as well. Speakers will be in front of the march holding the banners. But make sure everyone follow all the marshal's orders. And I will see y'all back here like probably 10, 15 minutes. We shut down the South Side. We're coming back here and to close it out. But we're going to shut down the South Side. Let Lori know we can travel east, west, north, south. And we're going to her office tomorrow. City Hall tomorrow. All black. It's a blackout. See y'all in a minute.